This is Jewell Loyd. Most of you guys know me as a WNBA champion, an Olympian, college dropout, but let's add storyteller to that list. I'm bringing my amazing community, my experiences to you and everyone across the world. Welcome to the warehouse. To be great, you gotta find ways to protect your body. That's the good to great. It's your body. Your body goes through a lot just to be able to do something that you love. And like in theory, I don't think your body's supposed to be doing all that. Yeah, we do it. It's a big sacrifice. But if you want to be great and trying to chase another ring and you're trying to be in the history books, is it worth it? Time away from your family, the shin splints and the backaches and the criticism. Is it worth all that? You know, like, I don't know if this is worth it. And we're back here on the warehouse. I'm so ready for this episode. I feel like we keep meeting like this, Danny, where we keep bringing up an episode and then we go and watch ESPN, we go watch, Instagram, and it's like we kind of speak it up into the future where like we talk about it, we see it, and I feel like everything that we're talking about is just like happening in real time. I don't know if we're like that's so Raven, but like I don't know. It's
the future we can see. It's the future we can see.
Something like that, or it's just like like we said before, when you log into the warehouse, is the real stuff, and I feel like this episode here is also real time and what we're seeing in sports and life, and the topic that I think is it's such a debate, and I think a lot of athletes, not even just athletes, I think this conversation goes on from artists to musicians to CEOs, the battle of like good to great and like what that looks like. And so, I have a story. Of course I have a story, right? That kind of leads us into this. I know, shocker. Jewell with another story.
Open up the book. What chapter are we on, Jewell? Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. It could be like chapter 6, chapter 45. I don't know what book this is, what chapter this is, but
let's go.
I remember, I was playing t-ball, and we were not very good as a team, and there was a lot of times where, when you're 7 or 6, whatever, like you don't know how to lose, like you just are upset, and a lot of times you go and play t-ball because you want the treats, like you want the sliced oranges and you want the ice cream afterwards, like that's why you go half the time.
That is kind of true,
right? But I'm a very competitive kid, and I want to win. And so I remember our team was not good and we would just lose all the time. And I would cry and I would be frustrated. And my dad, being the great dad that he is, would like hug me and console me and be like, okay, like I get it. Like, stop crying, like it's awesome. It's okay. Like you fought hard. But it's just like every weekend I'm like crying. And so it got to a point where like, game 9, I'm like still like boo-hooing. And he kind of looked at me. He's like, you can either cry and keep crying. I can hug you every single time you lose, or you can figure out how to win. One or two things. Now I'm looking at him like snot's like running down my nose. I'm like still crying. I'm like, do I still get ice cream? Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what that means, right? Like, what does that mean? Like, I can keep crying or I can figure out, how to win.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said it again when I got to high school, and we were playing these games, and I was getting, I was good, but freshman year, like we were still trying to figure out, conference, and people were coming to watch me play, and there was hype around Niles West, and we had this game, and I could have played a little harder. I could have, maybe been a little more selfish and shot the shot when I should have, and we ended up losing the game. And so my dad looked at me and said, okay, you didn't cry this time when you guys lost, but you can't just flip a switch. You can't decide when you want to be good and great. Like, you can't just turn it on and off when you want to, Jewell. Like, you got to decide, like, is it on all the time? Like, are you be good when you want to, or you be great? Like, you pick. Like, people didn't come here to see you just be average. And I was like, oh.
Damn.
This is what you meant. Like, got it, right? So, like, from the 7-year-old me losing and crying, trying to figure out, how to win, from high school to being like, I can't pick and choose when I want to play. How did someone decide that? Like, what determines, like, that switch? And is it like for me to decide, or is it how I train? Is it my environment? Like, that's a crazy thing to say to someone, like, you have the ability to turn it on and off, because that's like a crazy thing, right? So um that's what we're talking about today. Like, your ability to be good to great.
Wow.
And how hard it is to maintain that greatness and to even achieve it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In my story.
You see it in a lot of athletes. No, and I think it's great. And I hope you, at 7 years old, you figured out how to win. And I hope you got that going so your dad wasn't always on you. But for T-ball days. But when it comes to like, you mentioned it in like every field, right? Okay, for example, basketball, right? There are players at the highest professional level, and some days they can go for 30 and 15, and they can have all the highlight plays and everything. And there's sometimes where maybe it's an attitude problem, maybe it's something that's going on in their life, maybe it's something that they have to just go through, or maybe they're not practicing hard enough, and to flip that switch, that is an ability on its own, as you mentioned. But like even people in high level, high stress CEOs, business models, people that want to make sure that their company is doing the best, they got to put in the work if they want their company to just be floating, or they want to succeed. So I think this is a really good topic that we could talk about. This is truly the mindset of what we get at the warehouse too, because we mention all the time, when you come in here, you got to think different. You got to be able to think different, process things differently, and have certain ways where you can improve day on and day out, day in and day out. So let's get into it. I mean, for you, let's start with this. What makes someone great? And this is a general question for you, Jewell. What makes somebody great in your eyes? You can use your own perspective as well. What do you think makes you great?
I think, for me personally, I think what makes me special, what makes me great, is my ability to make others better. I feel like I've always just had a passion to not just help my talent grow, but I want everyone else around me to rise. I just love that. I feel like that's a niche. That's just what I like to do. That's something that I have always valued, is that I want my teammates to thrive. I want my teammates to succeed. I want the spotlight to never just to be on me, because I know that I am not here because of myself. I know that it takes a team to get me there. And so the light should never just be on me. And I've always understood that, on the court and off the court. Like, I'm always the first one to say, like, it takes more than just me to be here. And I will always honor that. And I know that's like very key, but I also know that it takes the work ethic. Like, you have to work on your craft. Like, you have to put in the time. Mm-hmm. And I am confident that I work so hard on my stuff. Like, I am in the gym and I am training more than a lot of people. And I would put that to the test. And how
do you know that? And how do you know that though? You know what I mean? Is there someone that you always feel like could be outworking you, right? But like, how do you know for a fact from that?
I could put that to the test, bro. I guarantee you that the amount of time I'm in the gym, I don't know if there's another person that is. Like, I really don't know. Like,
yeah.
And how I'm working is just different. Like, I have had people work out with me, and they're like, wow, you really, yes, this is how I train. Like, this is what I do. Like, I don't mess around. I maximize my time. I maximize the people around me. I only work out with guys. I have, a 6'3" guy guard me all of practice. I pick up to 161.
I've seen it. I've seen it firsthand. We played it. We played it firsthand.
We played it. Like, this is how we train. Like, I do this and I enjoy it. This is how I've always been. And I know that I am a different caliber because Kobe would have not trained with me if I wasn't. Like, the people in my life have been there because I am different. And I had to own that, because at first I'm like, why am I in these circles? Right? Like, I'm like, why am I here? Like, why did Kobe pick me? Like, why am I here with Kyrie? Why am I here with KD? Why am I here talking to these elite scorers? I'm here. It's like, wait. maybe I'm a lead scorer. Maybe I am in this caliber. Maybe, so for a long time, I didn't want to really accept that, but then I'm like, no, no, no. I put in the time, I put in the work, and I need to understand that. Like, I need to put a pat on my back and be like, no, it's okay to say that because I do put in the time and effort into it, and that's what it takes. And so,
Hmm.
I mean,
Hmm.
I think that's what it takes to be great. And then you got to show it,
Yeah.
consistently. And you got to do it in different ways. And I think that's what it takes. And it's not a one way to do it. I think there's a lot of different ways and a lot of different like cases you could look at and say this
Hmm.
that's greatness. You could look at me,
Hmm.
you could look at Chelsea, you could look at Asia, you could look at a lot of different people and be like, that's greatness, right? But it's the consistency that you can see that makes it too.
Yeah. And I feel like for someone at your stature, in your status and what you've done and your accomplishments, accolades, you're a very established guard in the league. You're a very established basketball player in a general term. You've done it all, seen it all, won it all at the highest level. So from that, I mean, you could speak to the volumes on what's greatness, right? But how do you know when rookies are coming into the league, right? Or a high school kid who's gotten recruited going to college. Like, how do you know if they're gonna? Can you tell off the bat if someone's has that good, or are they gonna be like has that good attribute or that greatness that's to them? Can you tell that right away? For like first off the bat, is it something that you have to kind of watch and study, or is it something you can just feel and see and go from there?
I think it's kind of both. I think you could kind of see if someone's like been through something, how they come back from adversity, their work ethic, how they handle their stuff, how they, media training, things like that, that you get to see how they just handle off the court things as well. But from on the court perspective, I've had people reach out like, hey, like, can you get in the gym? And I'm very selective on who I work out with and how I
Mm-hmm.
watch someone train and work out and how they, things like that. And like for example, like Paige reached out to me early on and I got into the gym with her and to see how she works, I was like, guys, she's a pro. Um and how she, showed up to the gym, early. I was like, all right, check. Like you're
Yeah.
good. You're good in my book,
Yeah.
got right to work. Good. Awesome. Put through a workout, no complaints. Good. All right. Picked up things really quickly. Good. All right. So like you can see like the IQ of things or the questioning or like the confidence and like your ability. And that's, obviously Paige is like one of one, right? But you can see just the mentality of just the play, but also just like the joy. Like the game itself it's hard, but like if you have this natural joy to your game, whatever it is, whatever sport it is, like that's gonna come out naturally. And I think that's part of the greatness in someone else too. Like you're able to
Hmm.
bring that joy out of each person you play with, and that's a skill. And I think that's part of the game too.
Let's go to that checklist. Let's go back to that checklist you kind of mentioned about Paige. Showed up on time, high intensity. Okay, didn't complain. Great. Had a joy to her game and everything like that. Is that like a what other greats that you were kind of mentored by kind of was their criteria? Like what they kind of did to kind of pick you to be back in that circle with all those elite scorers that you kind of mentioned as well?
I mean, I just feel like showing up late is just like not okay. Like
No, of
you
course,
shouldn't,
of course.
like you shouldn't be late. But you'd be surprised how many people show up late to like workouts. You're like, hey, like workout starts at 10. They show up at 10, like rolling in. And then they got like a 10-minute routine. They gotta like foam roll, they gotta stretch, they gotta put
Hmm.
their shoes on, they gotta fix their tights. I'm like, bro, it's like 10:30. Like, that- come on, So like you'll be surprised how many athletes just stroll in and they're late. So that should like that's already like annoying to me. Like I like to be on time. I like to get going. Like if my workout starts at 10, I'm there at like
Hmm.
9:30, like ready to go. Like
Of
I'm already
course.
ready, like come on.
If you're early, you're
So
on time, and if you're on time,
yeah,
you're late.
like
That's just how
it's,
that's basic rules 101, right?
yeah, I mean that was like basic like one-on-one. But yeah, I think just like if you're going to work out with somebody and you're trying to learn or whatever, like you're just being a student of the game. So it's okay to ask questions, it's okay to all everything like that, but you're also just, you're trying to learn. And it's not a dictatorship, it's not any of that nature. But I want to like don't hold me back, Like I don't want to waste my time and I don't want to waste your time either. And so like that was the biggest thing. Like even when I was working with Kobe, like, I was like, listen, like I know you're like not playing right now, but I do not want to waste your time. So if I suck, kick me out of your gym. Like seriously, I don't want to be in here just teach me. Like if I'm awful, like kick me out. And we were working on, for example, working on a shot fake. And my gosh, my shot fake's awful. And it took me forever to work on my shot fake. And he was like, no, like do it again, do it again, do it again. And I was like, man, I'm just not getting this stupid shot fake. And we spent like 30 minutes on it. And he was like, no, like we're gonna teach it. And finally, like it started to work. But for him, he's like, we're gonna get this right and we're gonna be fine. But wasn't necessarily because I was doing it wrong, but it was more so like just getting it done precisely. Like we're just gonna rep it out. And so for me, it's like we're gonna go and do pull-ups. As if you could do it 5,000 times, just don't waste my time. So if you're doing it efficiently, I don't care if you're missing shots. Just be like go hard in the workout. Like don't drag. Like don't make it emotional. Don't be like just go. Just work. That's all I care about. If you're working hard in the workout, that's all I care about. And so that's like the thing. Like I don't mind explaining a thing here, explaining a thing there. Like that's what we do in the warehouse. Like that's why I bring people to the warehouse because it's like all the trainers and all the people there are there to teach you. And sometimes like I can't teach you because the way I learn, the way I do things is differently. But my guy Monte, my guy DJ, my guy Dimitri, Steve, they're there to do that for us, right? So it's like just don't waste my time. Like you go there, you're there to work. Like I'm not there to mess around, you're there to work. And some people don't understand that. They like to like kick it. They like to make videos. They like to do this and like sit there for the gram and do like I'm like, that's fine after the work, but like let's work.
Yeah, it's not about showing up to the gym in like some crazy outfit, some crazy. You know what I mean? You see some of these hoopers on Instagram during the summer. They're wearing like some vintage tees and they're wearing like Dior shorts to hoop and all this kind of stuff. You're not about that. No, you're clearly not about that.
I mean, listen,
literally about the work.
Listen, I'll show up in whatever and hoop. Like, I'll just pick whatever, but I'm at work. Like,
no, of course,
Dior, and that Dior sweater is gonna get sweaty. Like, it's gonna get sweaty. Like, but.
It's exhausting, and whether you're a superstar, all-star, you're, sixth man of the year, or even trying to, get playing time and be a rotational player. But being on all the time. And I know your dad kind of mentioned, like, you got to put that switch on. What does that kind of mean in everyday life too? Like, how can you take that mindset and use it outside the court? Because that all kind of translates when you get to work, right?
It's exhausting. Like, I think like, like we're gonna be honest. Like you have to be on all the time. And I remember, when I was getting recruited, we had this like, whether it was at USA or we had this something at Nike Skills Camp or something like that, and they were like talking about recruiting. And they're like, yeah, college coaches, they come and recruit you guys, and they look at all your social media, and this is like MySpace and like first came out and all that, whatever, like Facebook. Yeah. And they're like, yeah, like they look at all your social media stuff and they really judge you off of everything that you guys post. So like, be careful with what you guys post. And, they're going to look at every single thing. And I remember like everyone looking around like panicking, right? Like panicking. Oh, wow. And this was like, I remember I was like 13 at this time because this was like bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs. Like this was like parties, like every bar mitzvah, bat mitzvah. So every weekend, like this was like, I was broke this whole summer. Like I was going, like it was like celebration. So every weekend we were going to these festivals and parties. And so, everyone's celebrating. So, the sparkling wine, right? Like the Welch's sparkling wine. Yeah. So I remember like being 13 years old, being like, oh crap. Like they're looking at my social media. Like, okay, I run, get on Facebook, go online. I'm like looking at all these pictures. I see all this sparkling wine. I'm like, man, they're really going to judge me on this. Like, I can't believe, like, what am I going to do? So all the pictures of, like, us, like, like drinking and posing, like, at the bar mitzvahs, like, you know, everything. I deleted them. Like, delete. Looking back, I'm like, I'm celebrating my friend, like, going into, like, manhood or womanhood, like, celebrating a big celebration, like, a big deal. Like, I'm getting nervous because I'm celebrating my friend. It's like, I can't, like, I shouldn't have that fear of, like, always being, like, is someone watching me? Like, I'm 13 years old, you know? So, like, even for someone
Hmm.
like that, like at 13, I'm already thinking, like, my life is over. So, from 13 to now, it's like you're always kind of like, I can't do this. I can't be seen. I can't be, someone's always watching. It's like, that's a crazy life to think about. Like, in high school, like, oh, like maybe I can't go to prom because if someone gets arrested, if someone takes a picture, I can't do this. I can't see with this guy because someone's looking. It's like someone always is reporting something. Like it was always like eyes on me all the time. Or it's like, oh, Julie, remember the reporter's looking for something bad for you to do. It's like, can I just be a normal kid? Like, what does a
Yeah.
normal kid do? Like, I don't know. Like, I was always on my P's and Q's all the time, or my friends were always like, hey, we'll protect you because we know you can't. I'm like, damn, like, it's like, that's a crazy
Yeah.
life. Like, what, like, I don't know what a quote unquote normal life is. You know, I'm obviously blessed to
Yeah.
have the life I have, but it's like, I've
Yeah.
always had to be on. I've always had to be proper. I've always had to do things the right way because that's what I've kind of walked into. And then it's exhausting at times. You know, it's kind of
Yeah.
like your blessing is kind of like your curse.
Yeah. I mean, at a young age like that, did you ever have like a moment, like a either with your parents or yourself, you sat down and just thought about it, like, do I even want to hoop? Like at this point, or like, do I even want to go to like these big name schools to play college basketball or do anything like that because of what was going on outside of the court? Because of like everyone's eyes on you, the attention, the constant like clicking of, hey, if I post this picture, this is gonna be bad. Like you have to double think about everything and you have to make sure you're checking all your boxes before you do anything. Like how did that play a part in your process into this journey?
I honestly just didn't want to do it. Like I was like, I don't want to do social media. I just don't want to do media. I don't want to talk. I don't want to. I just want to hoop. Like I just don't want to deal with it. Not because I can't. It's just I just know how it is. Like it was always people are
Yeah.
always looking for something negative to say and to do, and um, I just don't want to have to deal with it. You know, and when
Yeah.
you're growing up where social media at the time wasn't even that big. It was like you didn't really need it. It wasn't a part of like the average day of life and it wasn't how people got their news and it wasn't part of their NIL. It wasn't part of your marketing
Yeah.
scheme. So, it obviously now is like a massive thing and obviously I use
Hmm.
it now and we do this, but
Yeah.
I could avoid it, I could avoid it. And so it was kind of nice that I didn't have to use it and I could avoid it from, the time being. But now that, you can navigate it, but I think a lot of that too is that in which we talk about now, it's like when you're an athlete, so much they develop you on the court, but rarely do they actually develop you off the court and the
Yeah.
emotions that you deal with and how they, affect you. Like they constantly build you up your performance, but they don't actually build up your mindset and how they handle that side. So like you're building this side of the athlete, but like the human being part is like this.
Hmm.
So like you're going like this all the time. So then when you actually have to figure out like life, then you got to hurry up and build this side. And it's like that takes forever. So it's like, how do we fix that? Right?
Yeah.
Like how do we allow athletes to be built by the whole person and not just the athlete side, right? And so I think that's what we're
Yeah.
trying to figure out now, right? And that's what I'm trying to figure out now. That's my next venture. It's like you got to study the athlete as a whole, not just half, right? And not just focus on that person because that's what we're missing right now in sports.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think the social media aspect of the game has taken it to different levels, different heights in a good and bad way. But like you remember when you were in high school after a big game, you were getting interviewed, I would say by all fronts of newspapers, Chicago Tribune, Daily Herald, like you're 14 to 17 or 18 in high school and you're not truly media trained, right? Like how do you who kind of like guided you into saying the right answer all the time, or if there was a moment where you felt like, man, maybe I shouldn't have lashed out or said something wrong or whatever like that. Like, what was that process like for you? Getting constantly interviewed at a young age for these papers
Yeah.
and them taking your quotes, pulling them.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably some quotes in there that are probably pretty honest. I'm sure there is, but
You're a
I
straight
was
shooter. I know you are. So
yeah, I definitely was a straight shooter for sure. But there was probably one quote I remember saying, and it probably was the first game of the season when we played Hershey. We lost by like I don't know, maybe 10. I think I had like 45. Um, I think the score was like 50 something or we scored 50. We lost. I think they might have scored 60. You had 50.
Oh
I had
wow.
45. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah. So I think in that game, I said something like, I need more help. They got to help me, whatever. And, it's like first game of the season, so I'm like already frustrated. Like,
Yeah.
And, my coach is like, hey, like, it's first game of the season. Like, give these girls some slack. And, and that's the relationship I had with my teammates, though. My teammates knew. And, I was able to talk to them and be like, hey, guys, like, I'm exhausted. Like, I just had 45 points of our 50 points. Like, so they knew where I was coming from. So, but I still knew how my team was, and they knew like we grew up together, and so I also knew the audience. So I was able to say what I needed to say because they had respect, and I had respect for them. So I think that's a big point of how you're able to say things because I had respect of the team, the community, the school. But
Mhm.
yes, media training, my mom. So
Yeah.
yeah, my mom being an English teacher, my mom being who she is, I was always media trained. I remember in the house, we had, no, seriously, we had the, landline. I don't know if people know
Yeah.
what a landline is,
Oh yeah. House phone,
but
guys. House phone.
house phone. Picking up the landline, and she's like, if someone calls, you say, hello, may I help you? Like, this is Lord House. You wait for someone to say their name. You ask who it is. You write the name down and ask like any questions. Like she was always teaching us how to answer the phone, whatever. And then she would pretend to do interviews with my brother and I all the time. And so she was like, if I asked you an interview, she would do these things all the time. So she
Oh,
still
wow.
does that now with my niece and nephew. She was like, hey, you just had a good game. Like, tell me how you feel. So she like does this all the time. So I was getting media trained since I was like 4. And
Yeah.
so she has always pretended and has had all these scenarios all the time. And so being able to speak and talk to media wasn't a shock to me when I did it. And I'm glad she always did this to me. But it's still
Mhm.
like I'm 14 years old and I have cameras in my faces and everyone's waiting and they're asking me like all these, jarred questions and they're waiting for me to make a mistake or they're waiting for me to do something. It's still like a shock, right? And
Mhm.
like I said, you're always on all the time. And the one time you make a mistake or the one time they're waiting for you to do something, it's like, oh, now I gotta go back and do something. But luckily, I was, well trained by Jewell Loyd and, I didn't have too many hiccups here and there. But I
Yeah.
was, again, really blessed to have people around me that prepared me because people are always waiting for your down. They're preying on your downfall, man.
Yeah. They're always preying on your downfall, huh? No,
Preying on my downfall.
yeah. We start wrapping that up. Let's fast forward to your, pro career. I mean, obviously you're still playing and all. There have been moments where it's visibly frustrating, to watch, to see, to hear, and and so when media is coming at you now in what are you now? Year 11, year 12 in the league
Yeah,
now,
something like
going
that.
into year
Something like
12.
that.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, something like that. So you got some skin in the game. Is there ever a feeling like that you have such a good rep in this that if you feel like you've had a stretch where questions are coming in, you answer and you want to say how you truly feel, is it you feel like it's gonna dock you some points in that regard, like that you always have to be on, or is it what, I'm a veteran now, I can kind of say what I want?
I mean, kind of both. Honestly, like I was so over the question about me coming off the fucking bench, bro. I was like, bro, I've answered that like 50
So how do you feel about
times.
being the six man? Imagine.
I know. I was like, I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
I just answered that like 5 minutes ago. Like, it's like everyone was asking me the same question. I'm like, I literally just answered that. Like, we get it. I'm coming off the bench. Like, I get it. It's a shock. I get it. Like, relax. Everything's okay. Like, the world is still moving. Like, you good? Cause I'm good. Like,
Yeah. All right.
It's like, damn, like, bro, like, relax, So there's times like doing that notion, I was just like, bro, like, I don't want to answer this question anymore. Like, I get it. But then it's like you still gotta be professional because they're just doing their job, So it's like I
Yeah.
get it, but like a lot of times you're kind of just like, bro, like these are
Yeah.
the same questions. And I kind of wish that like I don't know, like sometimes in the media, it's just the same redundant questions. Like it needs to be some evolution. Like I don't know, it's the same stuff, and I get it. I mean, the game is the game. It's only so many creative questions you can ask. I mean, I understand, but um, you know, sometimes the obvious questions are just obvious. Like,
Yeah.
if you lose the game, they're like, how do you feel about the loss? Well, they probably feel upset.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, like how do you feel about turn the ball over? I feel
Yeah.
bad. I don't turn the ball over, obviously, like,
Yeah.
so it's like those obvious questions, you're gonna get the reaction that you're gonna get. So it's
Yeah.
like, those always, but when you get older as a vet, you kind of want to get more direct because you're like, listen, like, just find me at this point. Like there's a
Yeah.
couple points where I'm like, just find me. Like whatever. I don't want to go to media, just find me. It's fine.
Yeah.
Earlier when, on a rookie salary, you're like, actually, I kind of need
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
$1,000, whatever it is. But now I'm like, just whatever. I'll
Yeah.
take like
Put it on my tab.
put it on my tab. Like I'll, Calvin will pay for it, whatever.
I mean, you see guys like in the league, like in like Russell Westbrook the other day.
Yeah.
I was listening to him, like, obviously the Sacramento Kings aren't the best team in the league. They're clearly have the worst record. And he went into the media and someone asked him a question. He's like, I'm looking at you. He literally said, I'm looking at you directly, and I know you're going to ask this question because you ask me this all the time, and I kind of answer it every single time. But you don't know what we do behind the scenes. Like, he was so direct, and he's like, I'm not trying to be mad at you guys because you're doing your jobs, but like, come on, like how you kind of mentioned, like, come on, like, what else do you want me to say at this point?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think there's a way to be respectful, and it's almost like if the athlete is too honest, they really don't want that answer. And if the media really wants our honesty, it's like, well, then ask the real question that you really want to ask. Like, don't beat around the bush, like, but I don't know if people really want the truth, and like, it's almost like if someone asks you like, hey, how's your day? And then you ask like, man, I'm really depressed. And someone's like, oh, I don't really want to know about your day. Like they don't really care about your day. They're just asking just to like ask. So it's like, I don't know, so it's like, I get it. And they are just doing their jobs. And like, that's part of the, why they're there. And I mean, you're a journalist, like, but it's like a 50-50, like, what do you want and how much do you want of it? Because, we're still humans and we still have human emotions that go through this is our job. So it's like, if I'm going to ask you on a daily basis, like, hey, how'd you write that paper? And why is it so slow? And why did you do this? It's like, oh, okay. It's like different.
Yeah.
But I don't know if people really want full honesty all the time.
Yeah. No, I feel you on that. And especially from our perspective, like the media perspective, like I've been in post-game pressers, even in like G League, like, Coach Ty, like your guys' assistant coach. Like I remember interviewing him when he was in the Stockton Kings, and they let a lead go in the third. They ended up losing by like 15. They were playing good the first half of the game. And I was like, what were the defensive lapses? And the first thing he says, he's like, do you want me to be completely honest or not? And I'm like, yeah, go ahead. And then he just like let it fly. But I mean, the way he kind of answered it, I could totally tell, like, I asked a question and he, if you want to hear what happened with the defensive laps, I'm going to tell you exactly what happened in that defensive laps. You know what I mean? So it goes both ways, give and take. But that's kind of like the media side and kind of the off-court side of being good and great, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about some sacrifices, because that's a big thing. And I know you can, talk all day about all the things that you went through, sacrifice and all, but like, take us through some of that. Like, what are some of the things that a great athlete, a great player in their profession, in their sport has to do, and what type of sacrifice does it take to get there?
Yeah, you sacrifice a lot. You sacrifice a lot of time. You sacrifice a lot of events. And I mean, you sacrifice your body.
Yeah.
Like your body goes through a lot, just to be able to do something that you love. And you put your body through some crazy things, just to be able to get up and do it again. We like to say that athletes are a little crazy, just because it's like it's not normal to, you know, run it up and down the court so many times, and like the pounding and the collisions, and it's just not, I mean, football, it's just like it's all the sports, it's just not healthy. Like in theory, I don't think your body's supposed
Yeah.
to be doing all that. It's just
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, but I don't think it's supposed to be
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, we do it. But
Yeah.
the biggest thing that you sacrifice is time away from your family. That one's always tough for me because when I first went overseas, I was by myself, away from my family for the first time, and you just miss so much, like birthdays. You miss, I miss the birth of my niece and nephew. I miss, like I said, like being away from my dad and my mom, for their anniversaries, and not being there for my brother when he got his MBA, and um, for my friends, like it was so weddings, and I'm so close. I'm so close with my guys, and like not being able to support them, it sucks. It's like you miss so much time. And like you leave, like I will leave, right? And so I'm 21, I'm overseas. I'm like, going through life and whatever. I come back and my friends are talking about like the parties they went to, and I'm kind of like, so you guys didn't do your taxes? Like, that's weird. It's like a whole different life. Like I don't know what's going on. I felt like an
Okay.
outsider, like I'm like, what am I like am I in a different like life than you guys? Like I don't know what's going on. Like I have completely left this earth, and you guys, I just landed in a different planet, but you guys are still my friends and family, but I'm not here. I don't know what's going on. I don't know that things have changed. I don't
Mhm.
know, like, this person's, got sick and he had to fight, by, do this. And um it sucks, but you're doing something that you love, and they support it, and
Mhm.
they have your back, and they're like, oh, we got it. Like you go and do your thing, and we got it when you come back. But it's like you miss them, and you're doing this for
Mhm.
them, but you don't see them. So it's like, are
Mhm.
you really doing it for them? Like, is it really worth it? I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I had this thought, like, you spend like 90% of your time like away from the people you love the most. So like, I, what are we doing? Like,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, I love my family, but you're never with them.
Yeah. Did you ever?
Okay.
Yeah. Did you ever feel like in that circumstance or situation, like I could take a day off, I could take this practice off, or I could, not call in sick. Obviously, you're not working a corporate job, but like you can,
I wish.
is there a time where you felt like I could step away from a little bit, of whether it's training, whether it's in season, and you take a game off or anything like that, just to be there for them? Like, did you ever have a thought of that?
I mean,
If something was that important to you, or you felt like you needed to be there in a situation?
we really don't get that many. We don't get sick days. I mean, we get, and honestly, mental health days wasn't really a thing. I mean, if I said I'm overseas and say, hey, I need a mental health day,
Yeah.
I don't know if they, agree to that, or if that was something that was talked about 10 years ago, like, I'm not sure. But also like what I'm gonna do, fly home, I'm overseas, and then I had to fly right back. I'm gonna break my contract, like, I it's just a different experience. Things are just so different when you're playing overseas. You're not in America. Like you're not.
Yeah.
It's a whole different lifestyle. You play by their rules. I'm not saying they wouldn't. My family came out to visit me, things like that, but it's just so different.
Yeah.
It's just a different lifestyle. And then when you're here in the States, it's, you're here, and you're working, and you still miss stuff, because it's in the summer, and things are happening in the summer, and you're just not present, but it's the life we live. Like all athletes
Mhm.
go through it. Like that's why
Mhm.
even finding someone to be with, it's like, listen, like you're gonna be with me, like I'm a professional nomad, so my life is here and
Yeah.
there and there. So I need you to understand, like, you got to be independent, you got to be confident with who you are, because I'm like bopping around, like I go here, I go this, like, and if you can't handle that, like you probably can't be with me, like,
Mhm.
it's just how my life is, right? If you can't hold it down, and then it's just, athletes are tough to be
Yeah.
with, if you aren't like solid,
Yeah. No,
just because our
100%.
lifestyle is just crazy. It's just
Yeah.
wild. Um, but yeah, I mean, the sacrifices are just insane, man. But like, you know, besides the missing of your family, it's like your body. Oh man, like that's that's like my biggest thing. That's why I spend so much time like to be great, you got to find ways to protect your body. That's the
Like,
good to great. It's your body.
wow, really? So
Oh my
recovery is
gosh.
just as important as performance.
100%. If you don't protect your body, there's no way you could play longevity.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Is that like the number one piece of advice you're giving young players like right away, or is that, something you kind of they'll kind of figure it out on their own type thing? Like obviously you want to be there for them, but you know, maybe it's a different routine or anything. But like, is that a
Yeah.
big piece of advice you're giving them?
Yeah, I mean, to be great, you have to have a mindset. I think you have to also have a great community around you because you're going to need that. And like your body. And that's something like Jared was always big on, like, you got to protect your body. Like, you got to do all the little things that, like, protect your body, how you eat, whatever. And I mean, some of that's also genetic. Like, I've been really blessed with great genetics. Shout out to my parents. But, like, I mean, I will tell you though, I do not stretch. Like, I know what works for my body. I know what doesn't work for my body. So like, you got to find out what works for your
Yeah.
personal body. But I'm like, I focus on my sleep. I focus on my nutrition. I got the hyperbaric chamber. Like, I don't mess around when it comes to certain things. Like, I'm very selective on like who works on my body. Like, who's telling me what to do stuff. I'm like, who are you? What's your like? Let me see your certification. Like, I'm like, I don't know. Like, if I'm really like selective. I really am because I don't trust everybody who, just says, oh, I'm a okay.
Yeah.
But seriously, I think that's like, no, I'm serious. Like, I'm very like, I don't know. Like, who
You
are
got
you?
some faulty doctors trying to walk into the training room for you guys. Like, that's
Oh, I
crazy.
swear, I'm like, I don't know. Like, if I don't like, let me see what you can do first, and then I might let you like scan my body. But no, seriously, like, cause like if your body does not work, like, there's no way
Yeah.
you're making it 10 years, 12 years. Like,
Yeah.
you have to be able to put money into your body because that's your engine. Like, you
Yeah.
can't be an athlete and can't walk. Like,
100%.
it's just no way. Like, just no way.
I know Jared was kind of in your ear, but how early was he in your ear? Like, are you talking like you were recovering? Because when you're in high school, you're a young kid. I mean, like, you could hoop all day, right? 4 or 5 hours at Lifetime. Then, like, oh, next day I got a game. I don't really care. Okay, cool. I'm going to go hoop. And then, like, you still have that energy after the game. Like, but how early were you kind of thinking about recovery and this and like how that kind of builds like something into your greatness?
No, Jared was like so big on it. He was always talking about like ankles. He's like, strengthen your ankles, strengthen your ankles, ankles and shoulders. He was big on that for like the longest time. And I was in high school. He was like, he had this like overseas like ankle band thing. Like, I've never seen it anywhere else. I don't know where he got it from. He got it from some like European guy. And he would like, it was like this heavy ass band. He would do this ankle stuff all the time. So he would do that like with me. And he was always talking about that flexibility and being able to move. And we always were just doing other things. So he was like, play as many sports as possible. He will always talk about that. So just as a collective, like, we always talked about just being able to train my athleticism. Like, as much as I get older, like, you still want to train your athleticism because as you don't want to lose it, right? So like, if you could do as many other sports as possible, I think that helps your body. And that's something that, our family has always believed in. That's how we grew up, and that's how we're going to always kind of maintain. And so whether that was just us or that science or whatever it is, like, that's how we always believed. And so knowing that, and then knowing like, okay, like, what's other people are doing, like, who's played the longest and what are they doing, studying that. And then that's how we got the hyperbaric chamber. We figured out who was doing that and what the benefits of that. Cryo and everything else, like who the doctors worked on so and so, connect us with those. So we've been doing things like that to make sure that like I'm in the right people's ears and the right rooms to make sure my body is healthy. Because honestly, like, your body is everything. So your body is health and wealth, and that's like the big part that people are not understanding too.
Let's talk about what you fuel the engine with. Talking about diets, right? Like early young career, early few years, Jewell, compared to now,
Terrible.
Jewell. Night and day difference, or is it like you were kind of consistent? Well, how did that look like?
I mean, I never was a terrible eater, but Like this is awful. My pregame meal in high school, I'm not gonna lie to you, was so bad. My pregame meal in high school, shout out to Dear Frank's, 2 char dogs, fries, and a shake.
Come on.
Promise you. 2 char dogs,
And
Chicago
you felt
style
great.
dogs.
I'm ready to run up and down that court.
Felt great, dropping 30. Average 30 and 12.
Okay.
Swear. I go there now.
Man.
They have my jersey hanging in the store.
You're kidding.
Promise you. And then the night that
2 dogs and a chocolate shake. That's crazy work, man.
Promise you. And then the night I dropped 50, I had spaghetti made by Ninos' mom.
Oh my God.
Plate of spaghetti.
That's awesome.
That was my meal. But besides that, I really don't eat bad. Like, I don't eat candy, I don't eat brownies, I don't eat chocolate. I love apple pie, but like I rarely have apple pie. But I eat a lot of fruits. I love steak. But like I never ate bad. Like it's just like I never really snacked. I do love chips though. I do love chips.
That's your guilty pleasure.
It is my guilty pleasure. I don't drink a lot of pop. But my mom was always big on like no processed foods in the house. She always had a lot of fruits, always a lot of vegetables in the house. Everything was like clean. 'Cause she always had a fear of just making sure like her family had a history of just like just not good eating. So she always made sure that we were always, very clean and make sure we had no processed foods. But as I got older, it's like, okay, like I need to be able to cook for myself, things like that. But like now it's like, I love steak. I love red meat. I think for my body, it helps a lot. So everything's like, I eat a lot of steak. I do. That's like, I think it works for me. I know people are like, whoa, like you eat a steak and eggs every day. That's what I eat every day, steak and eggs. But
do you
Natalia, I do.
Do you
steak
actually?
and eggs, bro. I swear.
You're kidding.
Like, I promise you, I eat steak and
How
eggs
do you
every
like
day.
your steak? How do you like your steak?
Medium rare.
Medium rare. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, dude. I started at medium.
Medium's like my go-to, but like, go ahead.
But now it's getting like rare. I don't know.
Damn, you like make sure the cow's still fucking mooing, huh?
It's a quiet moo. It's a quiet
okay.
moo. It's not loud. It's quiet.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a hum. It's a hum.
Okay. But steak and eggs every day. Wow.
Yeah, I don't do that many carbs to be honest. But like, just like clean. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I do like every once in a while, get a hot dog and fries.
Yeah.
In honor of, Niles West and Dear Frank. So I gotta honor the legend. But I try to be clean as much as possible. A lot of veggies, a lot of fruits.
Did you ever have like a teammate who just had a terrible diet and you're just like look at him like, do you really need that right now? Like, did you ever have someone that you had to kind of like, yo, like I'd put that down if I were you, or anything in that kind of sense? You got any teammates like that?
Yeah. I have a lot of teammates like that actually, and you'd be surprised. I'm not gonna name them because I'm not gonna do that. But the teammates I do have like that, they have the best bodies ever, and they're the most athletic people I've ever seen, and they eat the worst, like Krispy Kremes, Chick-fil-A, like all the candies, all the sweets, and they're just
That's
like
crazy,
yoked, and they're just like the fastest people ever, like 45-inch verts, like they're just. I mean, it's crazy. Like, you don't Pat, like, it's kind of like that. Like, not saying he eats bad because he doesn't, but it's like, it's like specimens like that. Like 40-inch verts dunked between the legs. Like, I'm like, bro, like, you just had a Whopper and fries and you're backflipping and doing windmills.
He got like DK Metcalf, all he eats is candy.
Yeah, it's like, okay, that's
insane.
Fine.
Insane.
I'm trying to just run off all this stuff over here. Like I'm eating like kale chips, and you're over here eating like
there's like nothing you can enjoy. It's like, but that goes along with the sacrifice, right? You got to put away
the sacrifice.
You want to be good, you want to be great. Put you can put down the fries and pick up an apple, but but those are the little those are the margins. If you can cut the gaps from good to great to perfect, I mean that starts the diet, right? I guess. Or it has to be part of it.
No, it's true. It's funny because my friend's like, hey, like, how much longer do you want to play? I was like, I don't know, man. Like, maybe, another 5-6 years, 7, whatever. I don't know. He's like, so you have to like be in perfect shape for another like 7 to 10 years, like not like have a cheat day for another. I was like, well, if you say it like that,
Yeah.
fuck. It's like he was like really analyzing, like, oh my gosh, like you can't live your life normal for another 10 years. And he was like scared for me. He was like really like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Like he was really sad. I was like, oh my gosh, like you're making me feel really bad, Like
Yeah, right?
it's like, damn, like I guess you're right. I gotta stay in shape for another 10 years. Like I can't be out of
Jeez.
shape. It's like, oh my gosh.
Mhm.
Like that's a big sacrifice. Like damn. And so like if you put it in perspective
Yeah.
for like, my friend, it's like, yeah, that's a big sacrifice. But if you want to be great and
It's
if
tough.
you're trying to chase another ring and you're trying to, be in the history books, is it worth it?
Yeah.
Is it something that you want to do? Is it, worth the grind? Is it worth the sacrifices? Is it worth time away from your family? Is it worth putting your family on hold? Not starting a family? Is it worth, like the shin
Mhm.
splints and the backaches and
Yeah.
the criticism? Is it worth all that? Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Will people remember you when you're gone? Like, is it worth it? Will people will still be like, oh, but Jewell, hit a buzzer beater when she first got to Vegas and did this and like I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
like I don't know if this is worth it. Like, will it
But
mean something to my niece and nephew? I'm not sure. Because right now all they care about is Christmas presents. Like, I don't know. It's like
yeah.
I
No,
don't know.
100%. I mean, it's like, do you like we hear it all like, do you want to be good or great? We were at D Rose retirement night, and Derrick Rose, first thing he says, like I tell myself every day, do you want to be good or great? And we're talking about an MVP of the NBA, like a future Hall of Famer. And so
Yeah.
like my question for you is like, one, obviously you're saying is it worth it, but like how can you like what kind of separates at this point now, like if you want to have that Hall of Fame career compared to a short-lived, like, or compared to a solid career, like, and you've seen it, and what's the separator?
Oof.
What's the separation from someone? I'm gonna say it right now. Someone like you, who one day is gonna walk into the Naismith Hall of Fame, like you're gonna be in the Hall of Fame. I'm putting all my chips in. Hey, listen, I'm putting all my chips in. Jewell's gonna be a Hall of Famer.
I knew I picked you as a right, co-guest. I knew it.
Stop it.
Like, hey,
I watch.
I knew I picked you.
Hey, listen, I know ball. I watch film. You know what I mean? I see things. But I see someone like you who's going to be a future Hall of Famer and breaking records, shattering records, being an impact player on finals teams and championship teams. What's the separator between someone like that, like of you, and someone who's had a solid career? And here's the thing, and here's the kicker. Everybody in the league is athletic. Everybody in the league knows how to play basketball. You know what I mean? If I took player A and player B, they'd be very similar. But what's the separator between the two?
Yeah. Oof. Okay. So Kobe told me, he goes, you could win one championship. That's probably a fluke. You win two. You're getting close to figuring it out. You win three, you figure it out. Anything more than three, you definitely figure that shit out. But then he goes, while you're winning those championships, have you figured out how to win the right way? And have people talked about you winning the right way? I think that's the difference. Is you can win and you can build a legacy doing it, but it's a way to win. And there's a way to leave an impact. And I think that the consistency beyond that, the work ethic beyond that, the things beyond the court, that is what separates a Hall of Fame player and the good to great. The impact that you leave with the security guards and the janitors and the security, like all the other people, not just your teammates, but like the coach's kids and the broadcasters. Um, and if you actually had the impact on the game of basketball. And I think that's what separates good to great.
Wow. That's a good point right there. I mean, that's coming from, you know, the GOAT, one of the GOATs, if not, wow. I mean, that to me makes a lot of sense. But man, I don't even know how to transition to that one, Jewell.
I think
No,
I think that's how we got in the warehouse, baby. That's how we finish it right there. If like we said, the mindset is the biggest thing. And going good to great, that's execution. That's where it starts. That's where it finishes. And if you can ask yourself every day, do you want to be good? Do you want to be great?
Yeah. And I think that's the reason why you were in that circle, to tie it all back.
Yeah.
I think everything you just mentioned is the reason why Jewell is in that circle with the KDs, the Kyries, the Kobe's, all the elites. So